Hey everyone, hope everyone had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. As we are now getting to mid-September, this is usually the time where people start getting really excited and getting the end of their marathon training and start running, performing, and just showing off what you can do in your fall marathons. Now, unfortunately, this is 2020. Many of the marathon events that you might have been registered for have been canceled or at least converted to a virtual format. And as of last week, many runners who have qualified previously for Boston were able to go ahead and complete their virtual version of the race. Got to see a lot of their completions on Facebook marathon groups and on Twitter. So kudos to all of you who have completed. The London Marathon opened up registration, so I decided to go ahead and do it. I thought it would be perfect timing for me to give you my top tips for a successful virtual marathon race. Now, there's no debate, running a marathon in a virtual setting in the manner of your choosing is not the same experience as running on location with hundreds, thousands of runners, entertainment, aid stations, the sights, the views, the glamour, and even the post-race parties. But that does not mean that you can't have a successful or a happy virtual marathon. Now, the first tip that I have for you is make sure to select a familiar course. Make sure it's a course that you followed in your training, something that would be beneficial to you if you are a hill runner, downhill runner, flat runner, whatever it may be that would be advantageous to you. For my virtual race in a few weeks, I have selected a 1 mile loop. It allows me to gain familiarity with the sections of downhill, flat area, and uphill for me to complete the loop course. I know that there are some disadvantages to doing a loop. Again, based on the splits, you may have to, if it's 1 mile long, you might have to do that loop 26 times, which is one thing I've decided to do for my race. So just keep in mind that whatever loop, course that or segment that you're planning to repeat, make sure it's familiar to yourself and make sure you have the understanding of what you are preparing yourself for. By deciding to choose a loop course, there are a lot of advantages. Having access to bathrooms or essentially creating your aid stations very readily available to you. I'm able to essentially create an aid station right in front of my house where I'm able to go ahead and put in everything that I need for certain segments of the race, whether it may be water stations, electrolyte drink, carbs, snacks, whatever it may be to help me get through. So doing this would allow me to pick up anything I would need on every mile split. My second tip would be to, of course, be prepared. Make sure that you have everything out there so that way you're not having to run for a slight detour in order to grab the things that you have needed. Make sure that with days, weeks, or even a month or two away from your virtual run, make sure that you're prepared with everything that you're needing, not only just based on nutrition, but also be prepared based on your time, your personal and mental necessity. Now, a lot of times the marathons will start at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7, or even 8 a.m. start times. With a virtual marathon, you'll be able to start your own start time and be able to gauge it based on where you live. With me being here in Central Florida, there's no escaping heat or humidity. If I decide to go pre-dawn, then yes, while there may be cooler temperatures, there's no escaping 100% humidity or slightly near that. If I decide to wait until the sun goes up, then yes, humidity will decrease as a factor to that, but unfortunately, temperatures will rise 75 degrees and upwards to 95 to 100. So again, be prepared on what you plan to do and have that coincide with the hours of the day in which you are currently training. Never try anything new. So if you have recently purchased apparel, new shoes, a new flavor of your favorite nutrition brand, make sure to test it out in training. You'd be very much be surprised that no matter how many times you have used a certain gel, chew, goo, or block, just by having a different flavor can definitely upset your GI tract and definitely can knock off some time. So for sure, this tip does not change wherever, whenever you do a marathon. Never try anything new. That's the cardinal rule. And of course, the last thing that I would suggest as a top tip rule, make sure to have fun. If you are running solo, bring some music, family or friends, or the motivation you need to get to the next split. If you are running with fellow runners, again, be safe. Make sure to have procedures in place so that way you are social distancing along the 26 miles. And just, of course, you're doing this for yourself. Nothing will be better than you crossing that finish line after 26.2. Take care of yourself. I'll make sure to provide an update of my completion of the London virtual marathon. That will be on October the 4th. But until then, continue to dream big, keep putting in the work, and make the impossible possible. And with every run that you're doing in 2020, you are achieving the impossible. Take care of yourself and be safe.